¿Cómo está? It's Kaypacha with the weekly Pele report. Yeah, baby. November 28th of 2018. And oh my God, have we got the aspects happening. I am going to try to move upstream holding this camera while I lay out these aspects for you. I'm going to have to make my way through the bramble. Look what the rainy season did down here, man. I got a lot of trees down, a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, it's wild. And this is a wild week. This is a wild time, maybe a wild month coming up. We've still got the Sun conjunct Jupiter and Mercury over there in Sagittarius. Wild and free Sagittarius. Mother Nature, adventure going on. Not only that, but the big thing I want to talk to you about today is Venus in opposition to Uranus, squaring the moon's nodes, okay? I mean, you can see all this in the chart at the beginning of the Pele report. You can back it up if you're interested in the astrology. But, that is happening exactly on Friday. It carries us back to the conjunction that happened last March, the last week of March. Venus was conjunct Uranus, and then June 14th, it came around into the first quarter square, and now it is in the opposition. So it's like a new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, only this is with Venus and Uranus. I want to talk about that a little bit today. Besides that, if that's not enough, Sun square Mars. Dun 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 dun. That is exact on Sunday, but it's going on now. And Mars is just traveling along, catching up to Neptune over there in Pisces. Yeah, so we've got a Mars conjunct Neptune in a way, coming into that square with the Sun. Right now the moon is in Leo, she moves into Virgo for that third quarter square. On Saturday, she moves into Libra. And finally on Monday, Scorpio. Almost fell over, man. Stepped into a big hole. Yikes, kabobbies. Oh, man. I'm gonna have to get myself out of the hole. One day. That's what Uranus is all about. Climbing out of the hole, baby. Oh, God, man. I got my foot caught between two rocks. Anyway, let's get on with the Pele report. Let's see. Venus is in the final degrees. Okay, she went direct. She's moving from Libra into Scorpio. She was already there in Scorpio, but by Sunday, she is going to be coming back into Scorpio, and she's going to stay there for another month or so. So we've got Venus changing signs, and on Saturday, retrograde Mercury goes back down into Scorpio. So we're going to have some more Scorpio action going on with Mercury and Venus both in Scorpio for a little while here. That'll be interesting. And then, of course, the moon is going to conjunct Venus there. I don't know what day that is, man. Oh, I can't keep track of all this stuff. On Monday, the moon conjoins with Venus before she goes into Scorpio. Anyway, I'm going to find a spot, sit down. Maybe I'll try to get this waterfall in the background or something, eh? Oh, por Dios. This could be a long Pele report. There's so much to talk about on this topic. Wow. Let's look at it. Uranus has been moving through Aries for the last 7 years. Uranus is the personal unconscious. Each one of these archetypes, okay, each one of these planets is an archetype. I call it a psycho-spiritual function. And Uranus is the psycho-spiritual function of liberation, going into the unknown. It is this personal unconscious. And that liberation can be sudden, it can be extreme, it's like scientific research, very impersonal. Like, like beyond, ego, beyond warmth and compassion and love. Uranus is like, outer space. It's very cold. It's computers and the World Wide Web, it's like science. This is just science, and we're expanding. There's a big hype on Uranus now because it rules Aquarius, and we're entering this age of Aquarius. So this liberation, this opening, this experimentation is about expressing our unique individuality. Super powerful. Going through Aries. Okay, Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. It is this primordial, fiery, impulsive, spontaneous, animalistic desire. So we have, over the last 7 years, we have been awakening, to a new desires, basically, of a very sexual, physical, gut level. Boom. Yeah, I need space, I need freedom, I need to express myself, my individuality. And here comes Venus. Little Venus. Last March she comes around Uranus, and this is the thing. Now Venus, the ruler of Libra, she's very strong in Libra now, right? She's the ruler of Libra. She's in her own sign, and it's like, I want connection. Let's cooperate, compromise, share, dialogue, like work things out, and da-da-da-da. And so last March she comes around and hits you with Uranus, let's, explore, experiment, go into, the unconventional, outside the norm, outside the usual. We can talk about what that is if there's time. And, and then, in June, mid-June, she came in, with that first quarter square. I'm going to take the seeds, of these new revelations from March, and I am going to, put this new me out in the world, in a new way, and connect, all right, in a new way. And now she's come around to the opposition. Yeah? The opposition is like illumination, particularly with Uranus. Uranus I associate with the third eye, with awakening, with this objective. It can also be non-attachment, as in the way of non-attaching from our desires. The Buddhist path of renunciation is also associated with Aquarius, yes, and Uranus. So it's very interesting. Uranus went into Taurus, retrograded back, into Aries. So we've got this opposition in Libra, Aries. But then Uranus is going to go forward into Taurus, for the next 7 years. I'm going to talk about that later. So right now, this is about this new age of Aquarius. This is about breaking free. This is about liberation. And of course, we tie this into the larger unfoldment, the end of 6,000 or more years of patriarchy, where, women had 3 choices, right? You could be married, be a nun, or be a prostitute, That's the patriarchy. Male domination, and religions and belief systems that really supported the male and the masculine as being, the decision maker, the one in control, blah, 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 blah. And we see that dissolving, breaking down right before our eyes. It's the whole feminism, the whole women's empowerment movement. In the old days, women were financially dependent upon the men. Not so anymore. In fact, sometimes we've got the men being financially dependent on the woman. So things are changing. Things are turning around. Things are upside down, topsy-turvy. It's like we let the cat out of the bag. We open Pandora's box. all the suppressed energies, okay, around sex and love and rock and roll, you know, it's like bam, you know, let's bust it out, break it open, do it in a new way, yeah? And so this new way is not known. Uranus and Aquarius in the 11th house is the unknown. We don't know this. We're all scientists experimenting now, you know, with new forms, expressions of sexuality, new forms and expressions of relationship, new forms and expressions of self, you know, I, me, my in the world, yeah? And we can win or lose, you know? We can prove something true for ourselves, or we can prove that we were way off base. You know, and this is the other part about Uranus, is it is the extremes. It also has to do with rebellion, and maybe just doing something different to be different, you know. So rebelling, okay, against the institution of marriage, okay, or against commitment, or against Saturn and the patriarchy, can flop us. You know, the pendulum can swing over to the other side of anarchy, you know, where there are no rules, no commitments. You know, it's not about, you know, like integrity and goals and routine and family and children and, you know, blah, 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 you know, setting up home, you know. No. Now, okay, it's about, you know, a completely different expression of what it means to be a human being. Collective consciousness is evolving, folks, right? You feel it? You know it? You know what I'm talking about. In the old days, in the old patriarchy, you were weird if you weren't married, a priest or a nun. Yeah, you know. Now, you can be weird if you are married, if you're a priest or a nun. You know? I mean, so it's like, we're going from like, you know, it's like the pancake is getting flipped, yeah? And of course, it makes for a very unstable time. Uranus is very unstable, and Venus's partnership and relationship in Libra. So this is a very unstable time in our partnerships and relationships, where there is revelation. And we can use each and every one of our partners, you know, business, romantic, intimate, you know, not intimate, you know, as mirrors, as reflections of our own Uranian unconscious. And a lot of these are unconscious, we could say the id. Aries has to do with the id, you know, just like, you know, just I, me, my, I want. Yeah, it's the hunter. Yeah, charge. And Venus in Libra, and now she's going to move into Scorpio, you know, for another month, and she's going to retrace some of her steps. And Scorpio, it's interesting, Aries, Libra is cardinal signs about initiating the new beginning, Brahma. Scorpio and Taurus are fixed. Scorpio wants transformation through union, through deep, intimate soul sharing, not just sex and bodies, but emotions, minds, thoughts, beliefs. It's like soul mate, twin flame, I want you. And not only I want you, but you and our intimate connection and relationship is a path of transformation, of evolving, of changing myself, and in a way letting go of Leo, Virgo, Libra. Scorpio's the end of that individual consciousness to give birth to Sagittarian transpersonal consciousness, a wider understanding of natural law, of truth, the expansion of consciousness. Yeah? So it's like really super powerful. Now we got Jupiter in Sag for the next year. It's coming into square Neptune. I'm going to do a whole thing on Jupiter square Neptune 2019. We've got the Sun and Mercury still in Sag here for a couple more days. And this square to Mars and Neptune that the sun is making, after the sun squares Mars, next week it'll come into square Neptune. And this is unbounded, wild, the collective unconscious that holds within it all of our dreams and also everything that we've maybe suppressed, denied, or avoided. It's like we want to escape. We want to, go into illusions. We want to go into fantasies. Mars in Pisces is like Don Quixote chasing windmills. Very romantic. And just like, but it's about infinite union with all that is. Whoa. I don't want to go too long, but, I got to talk a little bit about the mythology, right? Uranus mated with, Rhea. She was Gaia, right? So the earth and sky, god and goddess. And the offspring, Uranus, locked up in the underworld. The offspring were cyclopses. The single-eye cyclops, right? And titans, giants. Okay, he locked them up. He wanted to hold on to control. We don't want to, really mistake our desire for independence and freedom for a fear of losing control. Uranus was definitely afraid of losing control. And guess what? Saturn comes along, one of his offspring, and mounts the revolution against his father Uranus. And he cuts off his balls, right? And Uranus's testicles fall down into the ocean of Neptune, and out of that, Venus is born. Very powerful symbolism, something you may want to just, kind of meditate on this week, okay? That, this end of that old lock up, shut down, suppress, powerful, Uranus, gives birth to Venus, the ability to receive, to be soft. Uranus is cold, harsh, uncompromising, extreme. But when he is, cut off, out comes Venus. So, it's interesting. Now we have Venus opposite Uranus. This is like the daughter opposite the father. Brings in a whole nother. Are you looking for your father out there? And this is men and women. Okay, we all have a Venus. Okay, I'm not talking about women here, but I am talking about this change that we're all going through. And it can be rebellion for rebellion's sake. It can be experimenting and going outside the bounds, okay, and trashing, letting go of the past. It's very interesting that Saturn then comes in. Saturn is commitment. Saturn is integrity. Saturn is thinking about the next 7 generations. It is the authority, the old father of the family that has responsibility and duties to, the many outside my own personal expression. Hello, there's other people. I am affecting other people with my yays and nays. So it's like, this is a really powerful week where we can see into our unconscious dynamics to see where we may be escaping, avoiding, denying through substances, through universal love and sex, even through, meditation, or, just like I want to excarnate. Neptune, Mars in Pisces is done. I'm done, baby. Now to throw another layer on this, I'm going to just put in some of my personal opinions here, right? Aquarius has to do with unity in diversity. Yeah? And we have to look at the evolutionary stages of evolutionary astrology. The consensus, 3/4 of the population. The individuated, 20%. The spiritual, 5%. We're all, over many incarnations, moving through, coming in, individuating, and then mastering, releasing, and going on to other dimensions, galaxies, planets, or whatever. Yeah? We're all in different phases. We're all in different stages. What I'm going to say here is that it is very individual. And you got to look at your individual birth chart. What is your soul history? What have you suppressed? What have you denied? What have you maybe overdone or overexpanded, overextended, This lifetime, your soul intention is unique unto yourself. Not only then do we have these evolutionary stages and personal soul direction, but then we have just the natural phases of unfolding of the human lifespan. Saturn, the 28-year cycle. Jupiter, the 12-year cycle. Uranus, the 84-year cycle. Sun, the year cycle. Moon, the monthly cycle. So, you know what? You have to take into account the age factor. Doing stuff in your 20s is different than doing them in your 30s and then your 40s and your 50s and your 60s. Doing what you were, the natural expression at 20 is not natural at 60. Right? Experimenting in your 30s is not the same as experimenting in your 70s. So you've got this whole phase condition and situation where you need to look at the progressions of your chart, the transits of your chart, the secondary progressions, the solar arc directions. I mean, boom, 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 boom. Your individual needs will not necessarily remain the same from birth to death. No, you're evolving. Duh. We're all growing, man. So what I wanted when I was 25 is not the same as what I need at 42. If you're 42 now, you're really going through Uranus opposite Uranus, and it's like, make that 40 to 44. Doesn't happen overnight, man. Anyway. Yeah, I want to throw this into that, I feel like, this age of Aquarius is moving, and of course, Mars and Neptune in Pisces is also about what? Compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, and opening the heart. And this Saturn-Pluto in Capricorn, it can be to be maturing into having patience with ourselves. Patience and compassion for ourselves bleeds into passion and compassion, right? For others. So, it's like, and then beyond this, just, accepting all that is. 2019, I'm talking about, is the year of deciphering the true and making it you. What's true for Hollywood is not necessarily true for you. What's true for the Muslim is not necessarily true for you. What's true for the South American native indigenous person is not necessarily true for you. What's true for, the United States is not necessarily true for you. We have to really understand, that, if you're listening to this report, you're at the forefront of the new paradigm. There are billions of people, okay? You go to Muslim countries and divorce is still taboo. You go to India, it's not cool to separate. You go to Indonesia, okay, I don't know so much about China, but you know what? It's not like, it's a free-for-all all over planet Earth. Right? There are people experimenting, stepping out, And I just want to close with this idea of pain. Pain. When you are causing other people pain, or your body, reacts, and you have a disease or a problem or an issue in your physical body, emotional body, mental body, and you go into pain or suffering, anguish, worry, anxiety, loneliness, these are all forms of pain. And pain is an indicator. Ding, ding, red flag, something's goofy here, okay? And if we're hurting other people with our choices, decisions, and actions, there's also, boop, red flag, let's not forget. We know a boundary when we cross it. We know we've crossed it when we cause pain or are in pain, and there is a need to retrace, retrack, yes, and remember, retrograde Mercury, reflect. Good week for reflecting on the last 6 months since March, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how it's going, and to just go forward in a new way. So the mantra for this week, oh dear, what can I do? I want my freedom and connection with you. Somewhere in the middle, between the extremes, we can find a balance and live our dreams. The tendency at times like this is to say, forget it, baby, I'm out of here. That's the extreme of freedom. The other extreme can be, oh my God, you can't leave me. I can't live without you. I'm nothing without us. It's the other extreme of connection, over connection, or over freedom. Somewhere in the middle, the Buddhist middle way, we can come into enlightenment. God, man, that's enough. I'm doing a new thing with the New Paradigm Astrology community where I'm discussing the Pele report. I put it out on Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing like this, webinar where we can all see each other on video and talk with each other and just like have a conversation about some of the material and the transits that I bring up on the Pele report. You should check out joining the New Paradigm community, baby. If you're really into this stuff, it's going to be super. I got the dream team. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We got a free Christmas giveaway stuff happening and all kinds of stuff. Check it out on the website. The link's below, But yeah, this can go on and on. It's an ongoing conversation is all I'm trying to say. But let me close for now and just say, oh dear, what can I do? I want my freedom and connection with you. Somewhere in the middle, between the extremes, we can find a balance and live our dreams. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.